in trouble. My apologies. Oh God. Okay, I'm just gonna hold this. Jackie Schlegel, I am a delegate from SD9, speaking on medical freedom. Thank you for allowing me to come up here today and give my second impromptu plea to you. The first was not planned, and neither was this one, which I'm a little embarrassed about, and I need to apologize for, because the truth is, the issue I am most passionate about, I nearly did not come and present to you. And this is a horrible, horrible cycle we have gotten ourselves into. But many of you, I feel rather jaded by legislative priorities. It was great to be in my committee yesterday, to be in an echo chamber of people who believe in the fundamental freedoms and liberties that we are all here discussing. It's been amazing to talk to all of the different activists who inspire us to keep fighting the fight. But when it came to legislative priorities, the truth was, my attitude was, who cares? Legislators not gonna listen. It's not popular. It doesn't fit into their narrative. And I was so deeply convicted about this earlier that I thought it doesn't matter if they listen. We are obligated to stand up for what we believe in and fight back. It took me back to 2015 when I launched the organization Texans for Vaccine Choice. You want to be unpopular in this state, talk about vaccines on the record. But legislation had been filed to take away my right to choose for my children whether I wanted to vaccinate them or not. The irony is, I had already vaccinated, and it was too late. This precious child suffered a severe vaccine injury at the age of 4 months. She's 19 years old. She's permanently disabled and she'll live with me the rest of her life. It's an incredible blessing and yet an overwhelming burden to care for a disabled child. But she's not alone. Thousands and thousands. My phone does not stop. Every day my phone rings with families whose children have been vaccine injured. But we can't talk about it because it doesn't fit the narrative. Back in 2015, I showed up at the Capitol, and I remember I didn't know what I was doing, so I just need to do something. And then I saw these legislators sitting in a committee hearing, and I thought, my God, I'm too late. They're already voting to take my rights away. I gotta do something about this. And I had that same moment earlier today, where I'm sitting here, and you know what? I just decided it doesn't matter. We might make medical freedom a priority and nobody's gonna listen. But here is my plea to you, okay? I recently wrote the Republican Party Health Check blog. The left has hijacked the messaging of science and health. They have silenced us and sent us into the corner like children, cowering because we are afraid to be called science deniers, flat earthers, whatever the name they want to come up. And I heard a gentleman earlier say, you know, the left is doing this. Yes, they are. But what's worse than the left hijacking healthcare is the fact that we allow them to control the narrative. We allow them to dictate what we do and do not do regarding our healthcare choices. Healthcare is personal responsibility. It is not the role of the government. Texans for Vaccine Choice is fighting on the front lines of protecting and advancing informed consent, medical privacy, and vaccine choice. I will not shy away from those components, and you should not either. We have a governor right now who is mandating masks for you to go grocery shopping. What are you going to do when he mandates a vaccine? Are we going to stand and cower in the corner, afraid to fight back? My families are at home with their special needs children, vaccine injured, who can't even take them to the grocery store right now, in fear they're going to have the police called on them. That's what I come here today with. And I ask you to add this and make informed consent, medical pricing, vaccine choice a priority. Thank you.
Carson, SD3. I have a question for you specifically, but I'd like to preface it with a couple of comments. I have a special needs son that's 21. He was premature, has disabilities, etc. He was born Down syndrome. I had no idea about vaccine choice and vaccine damage and etc. until I got educated very quickly. He had the first go round. He has now suffered some consequences because of that. In 2012, I met with my representative, James White, at that time. And he encouraged me to start an organization called Voices for Special Needs East Texas, which we did. And I encountered a lot of families, and my question to you is this. Have you also encountered the aspect of parents not even having a clue, not families that are special needs families, anyone, that there is a thing called conscientious exemption permitted, and Governor Perry signed it into law, not just religious, not just medical exemptions, but conscientious. And school districts buffalo you, don't they? They buffalo parents. Parents don't know about that. And so they're told you can't put your child in school, you can't put your child in daycare, you can't do this, you can't do that. And have you run into that yourself?
Oh, absolutely. And it is not just the school entrance vaccines, it is just choice in general. I mean, that is absolutely, the narrative is do not question, do not ask, and anything other than that is not going to be tolerated or accepted. So, sorry.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Hoff, SD7. First of all, I'm so grieved to hear what you've endured. I can only imagine as a parent having, given my child, 4 children, something that would harm them like that. But praise God, you still have her in your life, right? But secondly, can you just educate me, because I don't know, how many children every year are vaccine injured, as you put it?
That's a good question, because you don't know they can't find the answer they're not looking for. Very quickly, okay? A lot of times I'm here in a place like this and I talk to a generation that says, what about polio, right? That's all we know is what the narrative is fed us. What about polio? We're not talking about polio. We're talking about 73, 74, what are we up to now? I can't even keep track, and I do this for a living. Doses of vaccines in childhood, and 2 points here. They've never tested the schedule in combination. That has never happened. They don't test what happens when you give 9 vaccines in one day. My daughter had 9 vaccines in one day at the age of 4 months. We left the doctor's office and started having seizures. They test them individually. Maybe she would have had 1 and not the other 8, we wouldn't have had that reaction. But you can't find what you're not looking for. What I can tell you is week after week after week, families would come to the Capitol, and I would see the difference between our happy, healthy homeschool families, let's just be honest, mom, dad, and there's these articulate, wonderful, beautiful, well-spoken toddlers, well-behaved. And then you have like my kids and the other ones running around banging their heads into a wall, screaming bloody murder. They're not speaking. We have 1 in 6 children that's developmentally disabled, and yet we've never tested this. I don't think vaccines are the problem to all human problems. I really don't. I truly do not. But it is irresponsible for us to shy away from this point. Our generation is absolutely dependent, and I believe Texas can lead the charge in fighting for our medical freedoms.
Any other questions? Mr. Diott.
Rich Diott, SD9. Jackie, thank you for this. For your information, I know 2 people who contracted polio from the vaccine, and both of them have been disabled. One of them's about my age, and one is in her early 30s. So it happens, but they wouldn't diagnose it that way.
Yeah.
They wouldn't say that's what caused it.
And you can't talk about it either, because that's going against the narrative, and we have to stop that. If this is about protecting
Point of
individuals
order.
and putting
Point of order.
Sorry.
Limited to some short questions.
Yeah, just, and now I forgot what my question was, so let me just thank you for coming. You're an amazing spokesman, the way you deliver your message.
Thank you. You got me riled up. I apologize.
Any other questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.